with just a quick video. I'm here in my PJs to talk about the decks I'm going to be using for December of this year. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the tarot deck that I'm using. It is the Guardian Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. Now, this has been called the sweetest and gentlest tarot deck. So I was a little resistant to it, but I kind of got on a whim, and then I'm glad that I did. I actually really like this deck. I love all the little, I don't know if you can see, there's little tiny sparkles in the book. I don't think it may or may not show up on the camera. Got the nice gold gilding. The only criticism I have is the large amount of print on the card. I like the pictures, the images, but the large amount of print, I think it's really great for beginners. However, you know, someone like me doesn't need it. However, I do really like the sort of Victorian type style of this deck. There's something very sort of Christmassy about it, with the old-fashioned, like the vintage pictures. It makes me think of old-fashioned Christmas cards, and so for that reason I decided, oh, especially this here, look at that. So for that reason I decided to use it for the month of December. So I'm going to work with this, see how I feel. The work that I have done with this deck, it's actually, the readings it gives are, you know, quite good, quite accurate. So I think that it is, even though it is, you know, pretty sweet and everything, I think that's fine for December. This makes me think of Victoria and Albert there. Yeah, it's a very Victorian style deck. There we go. Oh, and there's a unicorn too. So why not? There's a unicorn. So that's the deck that I'm using for December. I just, you know, for December with Christmas, and, you know, it goes with all the nostalgia and all of that. And, you know, I think about, you know, kind of Victorian style type stuff at this time of year. So, you know, with all the angels and stuff on it too, it's very, very Christmassy, makes me think of. And then the Oracle deck that I'm using to go along with readings this month is the Fairy Tale Oracle that came out this year by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Again, you know, with Christmas and everything, and Yule and all of that, I think this is a time of year where a lot of us, you know, think about our inner child, and it harkens back to all this nostalgia. And so having this deck going with the Guardian Angel deck, I think goes really well, because it does harken back to kind of that childlike stuff. Like there's Hansel and Gretel, and some of those more archetypal type themes that are going on in fairy tales. So I think too that this deck is also a bit edgy, so it sort of offsets some of the sweetness of the Guardian Angel deck, while still maintaining kind of like a childlike influence for this year. So there we go. I think that goes very well together. There we go, very cute. Big eyes and everything. I did a blog post about Rapunzel. What I've been starting to do is, well, I'm going to see, I did my first one this week, is post every week, pull a card from the Oracle deck I'm using, and just use that as a starting point to talk about something. For example, I pulled Rapunzel, and I talked about isolation and liberation, and how, you know, especially as introverts, it can be easy to isolate ourselves, and people might isolate themselves for a variety of reasons, sometimes just out of habit, and they get into a rut, and sometimes for, you know, other reasons. But sometimes we also might need to have a little downtime, and I think especially, you know, this time of year is very busy, I find, with the holidays, which I love, but also means you got to offset it a bit with some downtime too. So things like that. So I started to do that. So you can, if you're interested, you can click the link on the blog below to my blog and check it out. For my Lenormand deck for this month, I'll probably be using throughout the winter, is the Maybe Lenormand, which is a combination Lenormand, and it uses elements from like Kipper and some other gypsy type decks. So it's got 52 cards. It comes in a nice little, looks like that. So you've got your 36 Lenormand cards, and then you've got additional ones that are drawn from other types of decks. So, you know, you've got stuff like the Clover, This one's a little bit different. You've got the eye, the hearth, the tower from Lenormand, lion. This is an additional one. So yeah, so I like this. I thought this would be a good deck for winter, because I just like the simplicity of it. I like the minimalism of it. So may not necessarily go stylistically with the angel deck and the fairy tale deck, but I just thought that this might be an interesting one to use along with it. And also I got this recently, and I have been working with it, and I'm quite enjoying the readings that it gives, so I want to continue to work with that. Also too, it also has like the Victorian type sensibility in it as well, so I'm loving that. And then I usually pair as well my readings. Like I'll pair the Lenormand tarot together, and I'll pull some oracle cards. And I also usually use what I call deity decks, so like an angel deck or a god deck or a goddess deck. And for this month I am using the Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, which I am loving this deck. I've actually been pulling a card every night, and it's just like this nice celestial hug before you go to bed. It just gives you like a really nice positive thought. So I think that this is another very positive type thing to use. And I mean, for December, I think it's great. This, you know, has a lot of angels. It has a lot of Ascended Masters in it. So it's a very, very positive deck. You've got the gold there. There you go. And Ganesh. We got Ganesh. Buddha. It's just a very positive, lovely deck. And of course, you know, you've got Jesus in there. So I thought, you know, for December with Christmas and everything, I thought that would be great. And then you got Odin. There we go. So that's just some of the cards that are in there. So I thought that that would be a good mix for December. I always find December to be just a very festive time of year, and a time where I think a lot, you know, it's a very nostalgic time of year because of, you know, the holidays and stuff, and also too brings up childhood issues. Sometimes not always, you know, positive ones for a lot of people, but also, you know, I think it brings a lot of positive memories to others as well. So those are the decks that I'm using. If you would like a reading from me, you can go to my Etsy shop. I do have a year reading. I'm going to be pulling out soon. There's one that I haven't had out the site for a while, but I do one that shows kind of what your guides are for the different areas of your coming year. And so I'm going to be putting that together soon, and so you'll see that on the shop. But those will be the decks that I'm using for December. Let me know what your decks you're using for December. I know some people just kind of pull what they feel inspired by. I kind of like having like, this month I'm working with these. Maybe you're different. Maybe there's one deck you've been working with for a long time, but let me know. Put in the comments below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.